This is Financial Literacy Implementation, Monopoly Adaptation by me, Lance Lipton. So this will be the content pathway. I'll be going through the background, my research, my methodology, the data I collected, the analysis of it, and my conclusion to my testing. So onto the background. So for the background, you started the U.S. economy where there are uncertain retirement plans and rising personal debt, and due to that, financial literacy has been, while it's been increasing, it's been clearly shown that it's very low. This can include the results of credit card abuse and fraud. The lack of financial knowledge can include missing topics such as budgeting, investing and saving, and smaller things like that. And it starts in schools, so schools should be teaching financial literacy as early as middle school, and they should be teaching it throughout high school and onto college. And when students do get to college, they do tend to learn more as they progress and as they experience more. But if we were starting in high school now, it would be less progressive over time and more on point. Students not knowing proper financial literacy can also lead to poor financial decision making, such as bad credit, and ultimately could lead to homelessness. So the U.S. economy, a little bit about the background on that. The U.S. economy faces challenges like uncertain retirement and rising personal debt since COVID-19. Poor financial decision making has been seen during that period of time and has had significant consequences. You can see there, COVID-19 recession was right here, and it dipped, and it projections for the percentage of GDP increase over time. But this dip over here is actually a lot. It looks small, but it's to a U.S. economic level, it's pretty high. Currently, the U.S. economy is struggling with uncertain retirement plans, unreliable Social Security, rising personal debt, and credit card abuse, all issues that I brought up earlier. So poor financial decision making does lead to this, which cause many issues in people's lives, leading large repercussions. So the second thing I want to do is addressing the lack of financial knowledge. So just half of the young people are reported in right here, almost 68%, or just half of young people reported feeling prepared to recognize money-related scams, protect their financial information, or safety using peer-to-peer payment apps. So, and this is also another stat that I got from according to EverFi. Fewer than a third of high school upperclassmen, or 30%, felt unprepared to compare financial institutions and select one that best meets their needs. These statistics actually clearly illustrate the need to teach students about financial literacy and enable them to better retain information on the subject to progress further in their finances in the future. Onto that, we'd go into financial education in schools. Schools, the knowledge starts there. That's where people learn things. The requirements right now is that only 30 of the 50 states require a financial literacy course, and it actually is a big difference compared to all 50, because financial literacy would be very much increased, and the GDP would be increasing more, and there would be more economic transactions. So one thing about it starting in schools is that some students just don't have interest. There's no information retention in classes because they're not necessarily engaging. With rising personal debt, we need upcoming generations to, as a whole, be financially sustainable and self-sufficient. So after high school, students go into college with minimal to no financial literacy, which does increase over time with their experience, as I've said earlier, but this will overall increase personal debt due to poor decision making and loans taken out for college and certain things that come up in life. So on to four key poor financial decisions which do relate to lack of financial literacy would be credit card abuse, homelessness, rising personal debt, and unreliable Social Security and retirement plans. Making poor decisions leads to these issues, and it really affects people's lives, leaving large repercussions on how they live their lives and what they do, how they do it. High school students tend to make these poor financial decision making. Homelessness may not as much be as the rest, but it still does occur, especially now after COVID. Targeting high school students for financial education and active implementation of that knowledge can be beneficial, because high school students have little to no basic knowledge of financial education, and depending on that background, that may differ. but most students who come into high school don't necessarily pay attention to such things from their parents or people that they've experienced. So this lack of basic knowledge tends to lead to low levels of financial literacy and hence creates poor financial decision making. So now I'd go on to my research. So in order to dig further into my research, I would have to elaborate what financial literacy really is. So according to the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, financial education is the process by which financial consumers, investors improve their understanding of financial products and concepts, and through information, instruction, and/or objective advice, develop the skills and confidence to become more aware of financial risks and opportunities as well as benefits, to make informed choices to know where to go for help, and to take other effective actions to improve their financial well-being. So as I progress throughout my research, you'll come to see that participants should be able to adapt their financial behavior and gain better financial knowledge through that education, as financial literacy implementation is very important. So to go on to this chart here, you start at the bottom. You start kindergarten to 8th grade. That's where most people start, obviously. Then they go into high school, and this is where we should be teaching students memorable financial literacy. As they progress, they go into college and university, where they learn the most financial knowledge and education due to the necessity and the experiences that they've had, as I said earlier. And then they move on to adulthood, where you move on in life and tend to forget teachings, but your experience really helps you move on and progress towards financial freedom. The goal overall when starting to teach students in high school financial literacy is not to prevent financial freedom, but to decrease the amount of time to get to that point. So as people go on and use their experiences in financial education through college and through adulthood, their rate of being financially free decreases as you get older. So as you're getting older, the rate at which you're financially free decreases, and if we were to start teaching students in high school memorable financial literacy and how to implement it properly, that rate will go up, and there will be more adults who are financially free and make more responsible decisions. So this is rather just not having financial literacy is a distinct issue, because young individuals who do not end up taking financial education in primary school end up learning things the hard way. And through over time, adulthood, first entering the workforce, armed forces, higher education, as I said earlier, becoming parents will have the skills they need, but it would be too late. So we would have to develop in the youth. So we are currently in a quickly developing technological age, and the reliance on personal finance knowledge for financial decisions is common among many young individuals. But with this quickly developing technological age comes higher spending, more scams, reliance, and fintech, which is financial technology. If we move on to higher spending, that would be more online businesses causing more ads to pop up and more spending to be created, where people buy more stuff, whether impulsively or unknowingly. More scams, the increasing online scams due to more and more integration of technology globally actually creates more issues and can be prevented with basic financial knowledge. Reliance, elaborate on that. Reliance is on more digital payments, which can create many cybersecurity issues, with the matter of more lessening cybersecurity and more risks with online payments. You can use financial literacy in any way to prevent such things by having more protection on your credit card, or knowing more about what your card rates are and how your bank works. And then lastly, financial tech. The rise in financial technology could introduce more complexities to managing one's personal finances, which could create confusion for those who do not have basic proper financial knowledge, and as a result, they would lose funds. So all of these can be seen as unrelated obstacles to financial literacy, except they are the perfect example of what people deal with when making poor financial decisions. So making good financial decisions can lead to maintaining your finances or even bettering them. So back onto my research, the use of financial games in financial education. The interest in finance games could actually increase the compartmentalization of knowledge learned because of the implementation that's being used. Financial literacy games can be more appealing to the youth, which can inspire learning financial literacy, which is what we really intend to do. In the long term, if it is taught properly and students actually remember what they're doing and how they're doing it, they can create long-term financial stability and possibly financial freedom for themselves quicker at the rate higher than most adults do on average. So financial literacy is very important and very effective at creating high-income skills and people in high incomes overall. So if we're able to get students to remember things and implement them better in regards to financial knowledge, this can be possible for them. So some assumptions that I had made was that the utilization of development programs, financial development programs like finance games such as Monopoly or Cash Flow can inhibit a higher level of financial implementation and education in those younger ages, such as those in high school, middle school, and just going into college. Financial games can actually create a fun way to learn financial literacy and create real-world scenarios as simulation for players to iterate financial knowledge and implement them. Now, there is some uncertainty in the long-term decision-making with financial literacy, and especially through the use of financial games. A key challenge lies in addressing the uncertainty surrounding long-term financial decision-making and actually remembering what to do in situations that just occur spontaneously. To bridge this gap, the focus should shift towards improving short-term decision-making, just so that the techniques that they will learn in the short term will be able to be better implemented in the long term. Because if short-term scenarios do pop up, there are short-term decisions that they can make to be their solution. And thereby this would increase the likelihood of sustaining long-term financial behaviors. In order to emphasize the implementation of financial knowledge within financial games is that rather than solely testing for long-term decision-making, there would be an emphasis on the implementation itself existing in financial education to facilitate real-time decision-making. So this comes to my problem statement. Can a targeted integration of financial development programs, specifically finance games, along with the implementation of financial literacy curriculum targeting basic financial knowledge with the target of bettering game decision-making, demonstrate improved high school students' short-term financial decision-making abilities and wealth accumulation perspectives both in-game and in real life? So then I would move on to my methodology. Actually, that's kind of it. I have slides, but they're not done.
All right, stop that. Yeah,
What do I press?
I think you just have to push the, like, the big button one time, right, Rick?
That was a long, that was control was longer than mine.